What's up, everybody? Ty Bartellin with another edition of Coach's Corner. This time we head to our friends over in Flash's country with Coach Andy Barker, head coach of the baseball team over there. Coach, how we doing today, man?
Doing well, doing very well. Thank you.
Yeah, you look at this weather too, and there's a lot of reasons to be doing well with how great the weather is this week, and you guys probably being able to get outside a little bit. What are you seeing from your guys in the early preseason right now? What's sticking out to you?
Right now we've been working hard since early November. You know, we're blessed to have an indoor facility we can go in and hit and pitch and throw. So they've been working hard. We've had a consistent number of boys showing up. Even the basketball players are showing up when they could through the off season. So the hard work is what we appreciate and kind of what's been bred through our program and expected from our players to our coaches. So the hard work that the boys are putting in is really what we see right now.
What kind of sight is that for you to see the kind of dedication being shown from your boys now that you've been at the helm for a few years?
Yeah, I entered my fourth year. It's kind of what I expected. It's nice that I don't have to be the ones to put the pressure on the boys to be there. They kind of do that themselves. They've got an expectation that was set forth 4 years ago by the seniors that I walked into to now the guys that are seniors who were freshmen then were kind of led by them up to this point. So, you know, it's nice to have that. It's nice to have those expectations. It's nice to have that kind of leadership.
How rewarding is it to see the growth of guys that you started coaching as freshmen now entering their senior year and seeing that growth on and off the field?
Oh, that's always one of the best parts about coaching. You know, you spend 4 years with these boys, and during this time of year, you spend more time with them than your family.
Yeah.
So, you know, you get to see them from 14-year-old freshmen, 18-year-old young men as they're about to step out into the world. And, I was telling them this is the last time they play for the school. So it's something special your senior year when you're, especially if you've been out of 4 years and you've worked your way up from the JV level to the varsity level. Now you're the leader of the baseball team with that, the expectations that come with that. So it is very rewarding.
Coach, in a sort of meet the team segment and go through your roster too, highlight some of the big names on the roster and maybe some new faces to watch out for.
The returners, we're led by Shane Hickson. He's a senior. He's be my catcher. He was all MVAC last year. Funny story about Shane was his sophomore year. He was kind of a hybrid infielder, outfielder, and we were about to graduate a 4-year starter at catcher. And my staff and I kind of looked at him and said, hey, you want to be a catcher? So he took his lumps his sophomore year. He dressed varsity every day because we didn't have a backup, and worked himself in to be an all-MVAC catcher last year. Definitely leader behind the plate and somebody I can really depend on. Then we have Brady Quimby. He'll be one of our top pitchers. An infielder. Again, Brady has worked hard since his freshman year to transform his body, throw very hard for a high school senior. Has exceeded expectations. Can't wait to see him out there. We have Dylan Howell. He's a lefty. He'll begin his 4th year letter this year. He showed up in big situations his freshman year and has continued to do that. He led our team in batting average last year. Also had quite a few wins on the mound. And anytime you have a lefty for 4 years, you're lucky. Next is Carter Boggs. He's another senior. Carter played second base all last year. He was probably our most consistent fielder. And when he gets his back going, he's paying attention to everything he needs to do. He's a good guy to have at the plate. He runs the bases extremely well. And like I said, he is just consistent in the infield. Senior newcomers, we have Noah Ray. He'll be an outfielder for us. He's a good athlete, great speed. And then we have a new one came out, Kalel Gray, kind of a hybrid track baseball player. Be fun to watch him play. Great guy to coach. Our junior class, we have Zach Morris, who's a sophomore. He been second team All-MVAC the last 2 years. He's a junior. He started both his freshman and sophomore years. Again, a guy that's deadly on the bases, hits for contact. We expect big things. He's also going to throw this year for us. Returner that hurt his shoulder last year is Chase Vesey. He'll be probably a starter in the outfield. It's good to have him back. He's one of those kids that showed up every day last year, even though he couldn't play, and has really worked hard to get himself back into shape. Tyson Mickles back. He's a big, tall infielder who will throw some. We're excited about him. Then a sophomore class, we have Carter Chapin, who was an all-MVAC center fielder as a freshman. He'll throw some for us too. And Connor Reed, he plays catcher, plays infield, probably start somewhere in the infield for us. Again, a kid who just works tirelessly and loves the sport of baseball. So we're excited. Like I said, we got a lot of kids coming back. We only graduated 2 last year, and all these guys that I'm talking about have varsity experience.
Yeah, no doubt. And I mean, you talk about the conference you guys play into, the MVAC, especially on the gray side, has a lot of those Trumbull County teams and a lot of talented, quality Trumbull County teams. How do you guys see yourself fitting in the in conference this year too and competing?
We'll definitely be competing near the top. Again, it's a grind, week in and week out in our league. Obviously the Braves still the big dog. They've won the last 2 years in a row. And again, we open with them to start league schedule. Nothing like that. This is the last 2 years in a row we've done that. Maybe 3 years in a row we've opened with the Braves. So that's always an exciting game. And it's always tough at being early in the year because you're still working kinks out. But throughout the league, Garfield has been good. Crestview's good. Up and coming, Liberty keeps getting kids in. Brookfield keeps bringing kids in. We got a newcomer, Southeast, that we don't know much about. My time at other schools, I've gone down to play Southeast, and I know they usually put together a pretty competitive team, but they're pretty unknown. We don't know what's going to happen when we go down there. I tell the boys that all the time. We expect to be up near the top, but we don't know what we're walking into a lot of these times.
The non-conference gives you an opportunity to kind of get yourself sharpened for the conference when you can get games in, when Mother Nature provides. What are some of the non-conference games you're kind of excited to test your boys with this season?
I mean, we open with Coach Dobson and the Springfield Tigers. For my Ridge days, Springfield's always been a top-tier program. We travel to Chagrin Falls. We play Coach Kemp in the Ursuline Irish. We go to Jefferson. We travel around. It's always, you like to play local, but you also, for what we have, you got to travel around. It's tough because everybody's so locked into their league. And you know it as well as I do. You'll check the socials on a random Wednesday, and all of a sudden, I'm playing, somewhere else, found a game at Scene, and I'm putting parents in scramble mode for the season. And we kind of warn them about that. So what we schedule and what we'll play could be totally different, but I do like the non-league we've put together.
When you talk about the kind of identity you expect to see from this team this year, what would you kind of describe that as?
I was talking with my cousin, and when I first started, I always said I liked the VCU basketball moniker of Havoc, and how they just played basketball at a breakneck pace. And that's kind of how we want to play baseball. We want to get on. We want to run as much as we can. We want to put people in situations where they're uncomfortable. And the more we can do that, the better we can be. At this point, I don't really have any, somebody's not hitting a 3-run home run. So the more pressure we can put on through base running and timely hitting and bunting is what we're going to do. And, last year we ran the bases very well. We stole a lot of bases, and that's, again, what I expect to be able to do.
When we look at this team too, and some of the growth you want to see from now until opening day and from now until the end of the season, what are some of those key points of growth you're looking for?
I mean, obviously I want, beginning of the year, our pitching is usually ahead of what hitting is. So I want our pitching to continue to grow throughout. I think we have very good pitching. So the consistency from them and hitting consistency is what I want to talk about. I want to be aggressive in the counts. We always talk about, chasing fastballs, going after fastballs, hitting early in the count, because we want to dictate the at-bat, not let them dictate our at-bats. So just getting through the head of the boys that, hey, we want to control. We want to be the guys that they're aggressors. We want to go out and make them make a play. You're not always going to hit a gap shot, but a ground ball to third in high school baseball with these infields we have when they're still a little damp becomes a heck of a tough play when you've got speed on the bases.
Baseball, it can be poetic, right? That's the old adage too. Talk to me about some life lessons the sport has taught you.
Be humble. Be humble. And baseball has a funny way of doing that. I always say, as a coach in baseball, I'll eat 99% of the mistakes that are made on the field. And to be humbled by the game is constant. You can go out there and lose 2-1 and play great baseball, and you can win 7-5 and play bad baseball. It really is just, a perfect life metaphor that, when life goes crooked, how are you going to compensate? How are you going to make up for that? And even if you're at your best, sometimes, somebody might be better. And that's what we talk about, is that my most important lesson this year is just consistency. I want to do the same thing day in and day out. I want our bats to look consistent. I want our pitching to be consistent. And if we get that consistency, I believe we'll be a pretty good baseball team.
What gives you the passion and the drive to keep coming back year in and year out and be a head coach?
Yeah, look, I like to consider myself a young man, but this is I'm in my 20, not being a head coach, but I've coached baseball over 20 years now. And this is my 13th, 14th year being a head coach. And I guess, I love seeing the boys play. I think sometimes it's almost a forgotten game, because high school baseball in Ohio is hard. So much of it's predicated on what are you going to do in the summer, because obviously, our baseball fields look best as our season's ending. And it's just to give them that passion. It's a game I love. Every night I like to go home, even after a game, and I'm going to turn on Major League Baseball Network and I'm going to watch baseball. So I enjoy doing that, to have the support of, my family, my wife, my kids, who, they watch me miss their games, when my girls are playing softball, my son played baseball, and those late nights you come home and, my wife's got dinner for me and she's, had the dogs all night. It makes it tough, but to have their support, I appreciate that 1,000,000%. That gives me the opportunity and the pleasure of being back coaching baseball.
Always need a good family behind a great coach, no doubt. You also need some good assistants around you as well to kind of make the whole thing go. Who's the assistant coaches around you? Give them a shout out, give them some love.
This year I got Sweet Swing and Tom Robbins. He's been with me since for 4 years. He's now my varsity assistant coach. Tom's just a great guy, become a super friend of mine, and he does real well. He relates well with the kids. He's coached high school basketball for a number of years also. And the other is Mr. Consistency, Jim Smith. Coach Smith has been around the Champion programs, even back to when I was playing high school baseball against Champion. And he's just a great community guy. The kids love him. He's within the school system. Just being around, he's just such a good guy to have. And I couldn't ask for two better guys.
You always got to love the guys that are around you, too, that help the program kind of go and shine, no doubt. I want to give you this chance to have the spotlight and shine it on the community. Give them a shout out. Let them know why they need to support this Champion program this year.
Hey, guys. So, the town of Champion has always been great to baseball and softball, and it continues to be. I love when we get the crowds up there. I love the community involvement. It's a sport that Champion takes pride in, that they, through the CAC to the high school teams, it's a big deal. And they're proud of us, and they show up and they show out for us. It's always nice when you look up and the parking lot's busy, even walking over from track meets to watch. So the town of Champion is a great place to be a baseball coach. There is some pressure involved with that, but I wouldn't want it either way. And like I said, I appreciate them. I appreciate, our administration, from Mr. Grabowski to Mr. Barson, Mrs. Herholtz, I always say Coach Cope, Tim Cope, my athletic director. All those guys are great. Anything I need, any communication, they've been great, and they get back to me as soon as possible. And they've been a great admin team to work for.
Well, Coach, we wish you the best of luck this season. I know it's going to be an exciting one every time the MVAC has any kind of conference games. It's always an exciting matchup, no doubt. We wish you the best of luck again this season. We can't wait to see you out there on the diamond.
All right, Ty, thank you very much.